Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive on explosive business growth. Probably most of you listening are small business owners or freelancers or entrepreneurs.
Or even part of a corporate team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you're looking to seriously level up in 2025. We asked you to share a ton of info about how you're approaching rapid business growth.
From diving deep to pull out the absolute gold.
Yeah, we're not just going to summarize everything.
No.
We're really trying to find those aha moments
Those things
that make you rethink
your whole approach to things.
Exactly. So get ready for some seriously counterintuitive advice.
We were surprised too when we read through all this.
Yeah, so one of the things that we saw over and over again is that most businesses under $1 million in revenue, they suffer from this thing that we're calling the obscurity problem.
Yeah.
And it's really simple. It's just that no one knows they exist.
Yeah. It's like you're trying to sell a secret menu item. No matter how good it is, no one's going to order it if they don't know it's there.
Exactly. So how do you break free from obscurity?
So the key is to dedicate the first 4 hours of each day to increasing awareness.
Okay.
So think of it as like prime time for boosting your visibility.
That makes sense. We're usually most productive in the morning anyway.
Yeah.
But what are the best ways to actually increase awareness during those crucial 4 hours?
Well, there are a few powerful strategies you can leverage. One is content creation, a fantastic way to demonstrate your expertise, attract your ideal audience. Then there's outreach, involves directly connecting with potential customers, building relationships. And then there's advertising.
Advertising. It can feel like such a black box sometimes, especially with all of the different platforms and strategies out there.
Totally overwhelming.
Yeah.
But when done right, advertising can act as a boom for your business. Think of it as a sudden, significant order of magnitude change.
Okay.
Like going from selling 10 products a day to 100.
Got it.
It dramatically amplifies the number of people who discover your business.
So you're not talking about small incremental improvements.
No.
But about achieving a major leap forward in awareness.
Exactly. And it's easy to fall into the trap of focusing on optimization, trying to squeeze out a few extra percentage points here and there.
Yeah.
But before you get lost in the weeds of optimization, remember the power of reach. Cast a wider net. First focus on getting in front of more people.
Yeah.
There are literally millions of potential customers out there.
That's such a good point. Sometimes I think we get so caught up in competing with the businesses that we already see that we forget about the vastness of the market.
And that's where another counterintuitive approach comes in. Instead of trying to beat your competitors, consider this make them irrelevant. Grow so big that their presence barely registers.
Like Eminem's famous line. Ooh.
Exactly. It's a bold strategy, but it highlights the power of focusing on your own growth.
Yeah.
But there's another approach can be equally effective. Kill them with kindness.
That sounds interesting. How do you kill someone with kindness in the business world?
It's about owning your flaws and responding to negativity with grace. So if there are criticisms about your product or service, address them head on. Respond to negative comments with empathy and understanding.
So it's not about pretending to be perfect, but about being genuine and human.
Absolutely. People respect authenticity.
Yeah.
It builds trust, differentiates you from competitors who are constantly trying to present a flawless facade.
Right.
Instead of battling head-on, you're either outshining them with your success or disarming them with your kindness.
I love that. And if you're finding this helpful so far, hit that like button and share this deep dive with a friend who needs a boost.
Please.
Now let's move on to a concept that might surprise you. Clarity trumps cleverness.
Oh, yeah.
Often we see businesses, they're trying to sound super smart and sophisticated with their marketing, but they just end up confusing their audience.
Right.
It's like they're trying to impress their English teacher instead of connecting with their customers.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Using simple language makes your message accessible to a far wider audience. Think about presidential elections.
Okay.
The candidates who use clear, concise language that everyone understands tend to win.
That's so true. It's not about dumbing things down.
No?
It's about meeting your audience where they are.
Exactly. It benefits everyone. Experts appreciate the straightforward approach, and beginners won't feel intimidated.
This reminds me of when I realized that my book and presentations were filled with overly complicated language. I started simplifying everything, and the impact was incredible.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. You're making the information easier to digest, which leads to better understanding and ultimately action.
Exactly.
So here's an actionable takeaway for you. Run your emails, your landing pages, and even ad copy through a reading level app.
Okay.
Aim for a 5th grade reading level or lower.
Yeah.
You might be surprised at how much clearer your message becomes.
Now let's talk about the power of proof. It's not just about having a great offer. It's about building undeniable proof that your product or service delivers on its promises.
It's like the difference between bragging about how amazing your cookies are
Yes.
and having a line of people eager to buy them.
I like that analogy.
Okay.
Would you choose a business with a fancy offer and one review, or a simple offer and thousands of positive reviews?
I know which one I would choose. Proof is everything.
Yes.
Like it builds trust and credibility.
Exactly. Testimonials, reviews, case studies, before and after photos, they're all gold.
Yeah.
And this is especially important in the early stages of your business.
So what's the best way to start building that proof?
Gather beta users and get those early testimonials.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to work for free initially, just to build that initial credibility.
Yeah.
It's an investment that will pay off big time in the long run.
It's like giving away free samples at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Once people try it and love it, they'll be back for more.
Now let's talk about the hook. Even if you have amazing proof that your product or service is incredible, you still need a compelling hook to capture people's attention in the first place.
Yeah, it's like the opening line of a song.
Yes.
If it doesn't grab you, you're probably just going to skip to the next one.
Exactly. There are 4 main ways to advertise your business. Warm outreach, reaching out to people who already know you.
Right.
Cold outreach, reaching out to new prospects.
Mm-hmm.
Paid ads on platforms like Google or social media.
Hey.
And content posting, valuable content that attracts your audience.
Got it. And each of those methods requires like a strong hook to be effective.
Absolutely. The hook is what makes people stop scrolling, open your email, or click on your ad. It's the most important element, hands down.
Yeah.
You need to optimize it for each specific method and platform, and this applies to both visuals and copy.
You know, I remember seeing a massive increase in views on a video simply by removing the first 3 seconds and jumping straight to the hook.
Yeah, that's the power of a strong hook. It's about capturing attention instantly and making people want to see more.
So we've covered a lot of ground already. We've talked about escaping obscurity becoming so big, your competitors are irrelevant, killing them with kindness and crafting compelling hooks. It is a lot. And if you're getting as much out of this as I am, don't forget to hit that like button and share this deep dive with a friend who needs to hear this.
Please do.
Now let's shift gears and explore a concept that I call mastering more.
Okay.
It's all about understanding the 3 primary strategies for growth. More, better, and new.
And what we found is that more often than not, more offers the highest risk-adjusted return.
Okay.
It's about scaling what's already working.
So if we already have like a winning ad or a high-converting landing page,
Yes,
or a sales script that consistently closes deals,
yeah,
we should just focus on doing more of that.
exactly. You've got a proven element, what we call control. Don't mess with it too much. When you change things unnecessarily, you guarantee the cost of change, but not the benefit.
That makes a lot of sense. But it can be so tempting to like constantly try to tweak and optimize, even when things are working well.
It's a common trap, but think about it this way. If you have a machine that's printing money,
Okay.
wouldn't you want to build more machines just like it instead of tinkering with the original one?
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It really highlights the power of replication and scale.
And here's another crucial point. It's easy to underestimate the power of volume.
Okay.
You often have more runway than you think.
You know, this reminds me of when I first launched my gym. I was so excited about our flyer campaign.
Yeah.
I put out like 300 flyers, and I was waiting by the phone expecting it to ring off the hook.
Okay.
And I only got 1 call.
It's a common experience.
Yeah.
We tend to overestimate the impact of our initial efforts. But the key is to not get discouraged.
Yeah.
Identify what's working and scale it up aggressively. Don't be afraid to significantly increase your output.
So instead of putting out 300 flyers, I should have been thinking about putting out 3,000 or even 30,000.
Exactly. Think bigger, think bolder.
Okay.
And remember, more doesn't always mean more of the same thing.
Right.
It could mean more channels, more partnerships, more content, or more of anything that's driving results for your business.
That's a great takeaway. And it ties in perfectly with our next topic, word-of-mouth marketing.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the most powerful forms of marketing.
It's a double-edged sword. Negative word of mouth spreads much faster and has a greater impact than positive word of mouth.
It's like that old saying, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it.
Exactly. And here's a startling statistic from Disney. It takes 37 positive magic moments to overcome 1 negative tragic moment.
Wow. That really puts things into perspective. So we need to be hyper-focused on creating those magical moments for our customers.
Absolutely. And here's another reason why managing negative word of mouth is so important.
Okay.
It directly impacts your advertising costs. As negativity increases, you need to reach more people to find those who haven't heard the bad stuff.
Right.
It's like trying to swim upstream against a current of negativity.
That's a great analogy. So exceeding expectations and minimizing negative experiences is absolutely crucial, especially in the early stages.
It's about building a strong foundation of positive word of mouth that will fuel your growth in the long run.
This is all fantastic advice. We've talked about scaling what's working, the power of more, and managing word of mouth. If you're getting as much out of this as I am, make sure to hit that like button and share it with a friend. Now let's dive into a concept that might seem a bit counterintuitive. Steal from yourself.
It sounds a bit shady,
Yeah,
but it's actually a brilliant strategy for achieving consistent success.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's about recognizing what's already working for you and leveraging it strategically.
Okay.
Instead of constantly trying to reinvent the wheel, look for ways to replicate your wins.
So it's about recognizing those golden nuggets and exploiting them.
Exactly. And this applies to everything from marketing campaigns and sales strategies to product features and customer service processes.
Okay.
One of our portfolio companies hired an ad director who came in with a ton of new ideas.
Oh,
They
no.
tried them all and they flopped.
Oh, no.
Then they went back to the hook that had been working for years and boom, success.
It's a classic example of overcomplicating things when the solution was right in front of them the whole time.
Yes.
It reminds me of the 70-20-10 rule.
Yes. A great framework for balancing innovation with consistency. Explain it for our listeners.
Absolutely. So it suggests that 70% of your efforts should be focused on replicating what's already working.
Okay.
20% on making slight variations to those proven strategies, and only 10% on experimenting with entirely new ideas.
It's a balanced approach, allows you to maintain momentum while still leaving room for growth and innovation.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that what works will continue to work. You don't need to constantly chase the next shiny object.
That's such a valuable insight.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype and think that you always need to be doing something new and different.
Right.
But sometimes the best approach is to just double down on what's already working.
Absolutely. Now let's challenge a common misconception about buyers.
Okay.
It's not as simple as emotional versus logical.
Oh. I'm curious to hear more about this. I've always thought about those two categories when I'm crafting marketing messages.
There's actually a spectrum,
Okay.
and it's based on two key factors: information requirements and information received.
So it's not just about whether someone is driven by emotions or logic.
No.
It's also about how much information they need to make a decision.
Precisely. And what we found is that most buyers fall into the category of high information buyers.
Okay.
They need a lot of information before they're ready to make a purchasing decision.
That makes sense. We live in an age of information overload.
Yeah.
People want to do their research and feel confident before they buy.
Exactly. And this is where traditional direct response advertising, which often focuses on low information buyers,
Okay.
falls short.
So instead of just trying to trigger an immediate purchase,
Yeah.
we need to focus on educating our audience and building a relationship with them.
It's about moving people along that spectrum
Okay.
from needing a lot of information to feeling confident and ready to buy. And this is where content marketing and brand building becomes so important.
This is fascinating. I'm starting to see how all of these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
We've gone from obscurity to the power of proof,
Right.
from stealing from ourselves to understanding the buyer spectrum. It all connects. It's a pure gold. And if you're finding this valuable, do us a favor and hit that like button and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Now let's shift gears and talk about building a brand. I recently had an insightful conversation with two industry leaders, Ben Francis, the CEO of Gymshark,
Okay.
and Chris Davis, the CMO of New Balance.
Awesome.
And they shared a game-changing approach to brand building.
They completely flipped the traditional advertising model on its head. Instead of focusing primarily on direct sales messaging, they allocated 70% of their budget to building brand awareness and telling their brand story.
That's a bold move. Most businesses are so focused on immediate ROI that they neglect the long-term power of brand building.
It's a common mistake. But here's the thing. It took 18 months for them to see a return on that investment. Talk about patience.
Wow, That's a testament to the power of playing the long game.
For sure.
Like they were willing to delay gratification to build something truly lasting.
And it paid off big time. They understood that building a strong brand takes time and consistency.
So it's not just about throwing money at ads and hoping for an immediate return.
Exactly. They also emphasize the importance of the give-to-ask ratio in marketing.
Okay.
They aim for a ratio of 3.5 to 1,
Okay.
meaning they give 3.5 pieces of valuable content for every one sales pitch.
That makes so much sense. Like it's like building a relationship. You wouldn't ask someone to marry you on the first date, right?
Right.
You need to invest time and effort in getting to know each other first.
It's the same with your audience. Think about platforms like TikTok, which have exploded in popularity by focusing heavily on providing entertaining and valuable content before introducing ads.
So it's about shifting our mindset from focusing solely on immediate sales to building a community and fostering long-term relationships.
It's about providing value up front and building trust.
Yeah.
Think long-term, and you'll reap the rewards.
This is such a valuable lesson. Now, before we move on to the next topic, let's take a quick pause to acknowledge that building a brand for a B2B business is different from building a brand for a B2C business.
Absolutely. With B2C, it's often about telling emotional stories, creating associations with aspirational figures or lifestyles, and securing endorsements from influencers.
But with B2B, it's more about showcasing tangible results achieved by the business,
Right?
highlighting testimonials from similar businesses, and offering valuable free content and resources.
It's about building trust by demonstrating expertise and proving that you can deliver.
So for those of you in the B2B space, focus on showing, not just telling.
For sure.
Now let's talk about some marketing laws for long-term success.
The most important one is surprisingly simple. State the facts and tell the truth.
It sounds obvious,
It does.
but so many businesses get caught up in hype and exaggeration.
It's a trap. This law forces you to create truly remarkable products and services because you can't hide behind smoke and mirrors.
It's about letting the quality of your offering speak for itself.
Yeah.
And I think this law can be broken down into 3 key principles.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So first, make the truth compelling.
Mm.
Don't just state dry facts. Find a way to present them in a way that captivates your audience.
I love that. It's about finding the story within the truth.
Second, show what only you can show. What makes your business unique?
Yeah.
What sets you apart from the competition? Find those unique elements and highlight them.
It's about owning your differentiation and showcasing it proudly.
And finally, say what only you can say. Develop a distinct voice and messaging that resonates with your target audience.
This is where branding and storytelling come together to create a powerful and memorable message.
It reminds me of the famous It's Toasted campaign from Mad Men.
A brilliant example of finding a unique angle,
Yeah.
even if it meant reframing something that other companies were already doing.
It's about digging deep to uncover those hidden gems that make your business special.
Yes.
Those nuggets of truth that resonate with your audience.
Yeah, let's talk about the list. And I'm not just talking about email lists. Think bigger. It's about identifying your ideal customers wherever they are.
Yeah, even with the best offer and the most creative marketing, you won't see results if you're reaching the wrong people.
Targeting is paramount. You need to reach the right people at the right time with the right message. It's about understanding your audience and tailoring your approach accordingly.
It's like throwing a party and only inviting people who are genuinely interested in the theme.
Exactly. And this is where things like detailed customer personas and targeted advertising campaigns become so important.
Yeah.
It's about putting yourself in the shoes of your ideal customer and understanding their needs, desires, and pain points.
I remember a time when we saw a massive increase in response rates for a gem launch campaign simply by including Layla's picture on the thank you page.
That's fascinating. What was it about Layla's picture that made such a difference?
Well, Layla was like a popular trainer at the gym, and she perfectly represented our target audience.
Okay.
And so seeing her photo on the thank you page created an instant connection and made people feel like they were part of something special.
It's a great example of how even a seemingly small detail can have a significant impact on results when it's aligned with your target audience.
Yeah, it highlights the importance of obsessing over targeting.
Yes.
It's the foundation of successful marketing.
Now let's talk about the mark of a master. What sets masters apart in any field?
I think it's their deep understanding of the underlying principles.
Yeah.
And their ability to apply those principles in a nuanced way, Like they don't just follow the rules.
Right.
They understand why the rules exist and how to bend or break them when necessary.
Exactly. And when it comes to business masters, have a deep understanding of metrics and use them to measure their progress effectively. They go beyond simple binary outcomes like I made a sale or I didn't make a sale.
Right.
They track multiple leading indicators that give them a more nuance of their performance.
It reminds me of when my executive team questioned our outbound marketing efforts.
Yeah.
Because we had only made one sale in 4 months.
Yeah.
But they were missing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
They didn't see all the progress we were making behind the scenes. We were building relationships, generating leads, and refining our process.
Yeah.
The sales would come.
Right.
But it took time to build that momentum.
It's easy to get caught up in short-term results and miss the long-term progress.
That's why it's so important to develop a sophisticated understanding of the metrics that drive success in your field. Track your progress, identify areas for improvement, and adjust your approach based on leading indicators, not just lagging results.
It's about having a holistic view of your business and understanding the interplay of different factors.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far. I'm feeling energized and inspired.
And we're just getting started.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll explore even more counterintuitive insights and actionable strategies for achieving explosive business growth.
Welcome back. I'm so excited to continue our exploration of these kind of unconventional business growth strategies.
Me too.
Yeah.
We were just discussing the importance of understanding metrics and tracking leading indicators.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the short-term results
Oh, total.
and miss the bigger picture.
It's like focusing on the waves crashing on the shore without realizing there's a powerful undertow shaping the entire coastline.
That's such a good analogy. So how can we develop a more sophisticated understanding of the metrics that really matter?
Well, it starts with identifying the key drivers of success in your specific industry and niche. What are the actions that consistently lead to the outcomes you desire? Once you know what to track, you can start gathering data and looking for patterns.
And this is where things like dashboards and analytics tools and CRM systems come in, right?
Absolutely. Those tools can help you visualize your data and gain valuable insights.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember, data is just a tool. It's up to you to interpret the data and make strategic decisions.
So it's not just about collecting data.
No.
It's about using it to inform our actions.
Exactly. And this brings us to another crucial point.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to experiment. The business world is constantly evolving, and what worked yesterday might not work today. You need to be willing to try new things, test different approaches, and just see what resonates.
It's like being a scientist in a lab, constantly running experiments and analyzing the results.
I love that analogy. And just like a scientist, you need to be meticulous.
Yeah.
Track your experiments, document your findings, and be willing to adjust your hypothesis.
So it's a process of continuous learning and improvement.
Absolutely. And here's another key principle. Failure is not the opposite of success.
Right.
It's part of the process.
I love that. It's so easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned.
Yeah.
But you're right, setbacks are inevitable.
Yeah.
It's how we learn and grow.
Exactly. Embrace your failures, learn from them, and keep iterating.
This is so inspiring. And if you're feeling inspired too, don't forget to hit that like button and share this deep dive with someone who needs to hear it.
Yes, please do.
Now let's talk about a concept that might seem a bit controversial.
Okay.
Manipulation.
Ooh, yeah, that's a loaded word.
Good word.
And I want to be clear that we're not advocating for any unethical or deceptive practices. Of course not. But here's the thing. All marketing is to some extent a form of manipulation.
Okay.
We're trying to influence people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. The key is to do it in a way that is ethical, transparent, and ultimately beneficial for both parties.
It's about understanding the psychology of persuasion
Yes.
and using it for good.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful tools of persuasion is storytelling. Human beings are hardwired to respond to stories.
Yeah.
They connect with us on an emotional level and help us make sense of the world.
It's true. We remember stories far better than we remember facts and figures.
Exactly. So when you're crafting your marketing messages, think about how you can weave your message into a compelling narrative. What's the story behind your brand? What challenges have you overcome? What impact do you want to make?
It's about finding the human element
Yes.
and sharing it with the world.
Exactly. And here's another key principle of persuasion.
Okay.
Social proof.
We touched on this earlier when we were talking about testimonials and reviews.
Right. People are more likely to take action if they see that others have already done so and had a positive experience.
It's like that feeling of relief when you see, like, a long line outside a restaurant.
Yeah.
You're like, well, it must be good if all these people are waiting to get in.
Oh, I love that analogy. It's a primal instinct. We're social creatures.
Yeah.
And we look to others for cues. So make sure you're showcasing social proof in all your marketing.
Okay.
Highlight testimonials, feature case studies, showcase the number of people who have already bought or used your product.
Yeah, it's about leveraging the power of the crowd
Yes.
to build that trust and credibility.
Now let's talk about another powerful tool of persuasion: scarcity.
Scarcity. How does it play into marketing?
People are more likely to want something if they believe it's in limited supply.
It's like the frenzy that happens when like a new iPhone is released.
Exactly. We're wired to value things that are rare or difficult to obtain.
Right.
So when you're promoting your product, consider highlighting any elements of scarcity.
Okay.
It could be a limited time offer, a limited number of units available, or even exclusive access to a particular feature.
So it's about creating a sense of urgency
Yeah.
and exclusivity.
Exactly. But it's important to use scarcity ethically.
Of course.
Don't create false scarcity just to manipulate people.
Make sure there's a genuine reason for the limitation.
This is all fascinating stuff. We've covered so much ground today.
We have.
From the power of storytelling and social proof to the psychology of scarcity. And before we move on to our final segment, I just want to say, if you're enjoying this deep dive, please do us a favor, hit that like button and share it with a friend.
Yes, spread the love.
Now let's talk about something that might seem a bit unexpected in this context.
Okay.
Spirituality.
Spirituality in this context.
Yeah, what do you think?
It might seem unconventional, but we believe that integrating spiritual principles into your business can lead to greater fulfillment, purpose, and ultimately success.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It starts with aligning your business with your values
Okay.
and your purpose. What do you believe in? What impact do you want to make?
It's about finding your why and letting it guide your decisions.
Exactly. When your business is aligned with your values and your purpose, you'll be more motivated, more resilient, and more likely to attract customers who resonate.
Yeah, it's about building a business that feels authentic
Yes.
and meaningful.
Another key principle is gratitude.
Okay,
When you're grateful for what you have, you attract more abundance.
I love that. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle
Yeah,
and forget to appreciate the good things we already have.
exactly. Take time each day to express gratitude for your customers, your team, your opportunities, everything that supports you.
It's about shifting our focus from scarcity to abundance.
And finally, cultivate a mindset of service.
Okay.
When you focus on serving others and adding value, you naturally attract success.
It's about seeing your business as a vehicle for making a positive impact.
Yes, this is all about creating a business that's aligned with your soul, your purpose, and your desire to make a difference.
This has been a truly transformative conversation.
It has.
I'm feeling so inspired to take my business to the next level
Yeah.
and to do it in a way that feels authentic and meaningful and fulfilling.
That's awesome.
And remember, it's not just about achieving external success. It's about creating a business that nourishes your soul
Yes.
and brings joy to your life.
Beautifully said. Now stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up our deep dive with some final insights and actionable takeaways.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling incredibly energized.
Yeah,
Inspired by everything we've talked about so far.
that's a lot.
It has been a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to see how our listeners apply these insights to their own ventures.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I'd love to explore one more concept
Okay.
that often gets overlooked. And it's something that we call the small hinges, swing big doors principle.
Yes, one of my favorites. It reminds us that even the smallest actions can have a massive impact.
It's like the butterfly effect, right? Like
Yeah.
one tiny flap of a butterfly's wings
Yeah.
can create a hurricane on the other side of the world.
Exactly. And it's the same in business. Often it's these seemingly insignificant details that make all the difference.
So how do we identify those small hinges in our own businesses? Those tiny tweaks or adjustments that can lead to exponential growth.
It starts with paying attention. Don't just look at the big picture metrics, dive deeper.
Okay.
What are the small steps or actions that are contributing? It's about understanding the entire process,
Yeah.
not just the outcome.
So it's like being a detective looking for clues, connecting the dots.
Exactly. And once you understand the process, you can start experimenting with different hinges,
Okay.
see what moves the needle.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something as simple as changing the wording of your call to action,
Okay.
subject line of your emails, or the color of a button.
Yeah, it reminds me of the time we increased conversions on a landing page just by changing the image.
Oh, wow.
It was a subtle change, but it made a huge impact.
It's incredible how small tweaks can create dramatic results.
So it's about testing, experimenting, and being open to trying new things, even if they seem insignificant.
Absolutely. And remember, failure is part of the process.
Yeah.
Not every experiment will be a success, but even our failures teach us valuable lessons.
It's about embracing the journey
Yeah.
and learning from every step.
Now, before we wrap up,
Okay.
I'd like to emphasize one more point.
Mm-hmm.
All of these strategies and insights are useless if you don't take action.
That's so true. It's easy to get caught up in consuming information
Right.
and feeling like we're making progress. But real progress comes from implementation.
Exactly. So I challenge you to choose one thing you've learned from this deep dive and take action on it today.
Yeah,
Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just start.
I love that. And I'd like to add one more challenge. Share what you've learned with someone else.
Yeah.
Teach it to a friend, a colleague, a family member. When we teach something,
Right.
we solidify our understanding of it.
That's a great point. And you never know who you might inspire.
This has been an incredible journey, and I'm so grateful to have shared it with you. We've covered so much ground, and I'm confident that our listeners are walking away with valuable insights that will help them achieve explosive business growth
For sure.
in 2025 and beyond.
Remember, it's not just about achieving external success.
Hmm?
It's about creating a business that nourishes your soul, aligns with your purpose, and brings joy to your life.
Beautifully said. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it.
Please do.
Until next time, keep crushing it.